Welcome back to Miles Reads. I'm Miles. Today, I want to share a book that could change the way you live. Goodbye, Things, the New Japanese Minimalism. You've probably been there before. On Black Friday, you excitedly haul home a pile of discounted goods, only to realize later that you don't need them, you rarely use them, and some were just impulse buys. Over time, your possessions stack up, getting in the way and becoming an eyesore. Have you ever felt that the more you own, the heavier your burdens become? So, could it be that owning less actually makes you happier? The book we're discussing today gives a resounding yes to that question. Goodbye, Things is an action guide to a life of freedom. It shows us that by getting rid of excess stuff, we can identify our true desires and simplify our environment to the extreme. In doing so, we can reclaim our time and energy, achieving a state of effortless freedom. The author, Fumio Sasaki, is a Japanese publishing editor and a dedicated minimalist. The website he co-founded on minimalism gained immense popularity in Japan, making him one of the country's leading voices on the subject. This book, a blend of philosophical insight and practical methods, is his ultimate playbook. On Amazon Japan, its reviews and ratings have surpassed even the recent bestseller, Danshari. Next, I'll walk you through the essence of this book in 3 parts. Part 1. How does the author define a minimalist? And what is stopping us from living a simple life? Part 2. What practical steps can we take to achieve a minimalist lifestyle? Part 3. What changes and rewards can minimalism bring to our lives? First, let's look at Part 1. Minimalism through the author's eyes and the obstacles that stand in our way. When we talk about minimalism, many of us have a connection to one of its most famous practitioners, Apple founder Steve Jobs. The author considers Jobs to be a flawless minimalist. He constantly worked to reduce distractions, from wearing the same style of clothing for years to stripping away every non-essential element from his product designs. It's said that Jobs would keep meetings as small as possible. If he saw someone unnecessary in the room, he would bluntly say, "You don't need to be in this meeting. Thank you." This shows that minimalism isn't about throwing everything away, it's about reducing the non-essential to a minimum. The author believes minimalists are people who truly understand their own needs. They don't chase material possessions to win the approval of others, they know what is truly essential in their lives. And because they cherish these important things so deeply, they consciously reduce the number of other items around them. So, how much do you have to get rid of to cross the threshold into minimalism? The author's answer is, there's no fixed standard. In fact, he warns us not to take minimalism literally. It isn't a competition to see who can own the fewest things. For example, some practitioners live in portable foam houses, while others have no fixed address at all, living a nomadic urban life with just a single handbag. If we get caught up in comparisons, we'll never measure up to such extremes. Comparing yourself to other minimalists is meaningless. Minimalism itself is not the goal, it's an attitude, a philosophy. Its true purpose is to help you quickly identify the things you should truly cherish. So, what is stopping us from finding these cherished things? On one hand, it's our social environment. In an age of information overload, the moment you unlock your phone, a flood of information rushes in from social media, news apps, video sites, and shopping platforms. Much of it is junk information, clickbait headlines with empty content, designed purely for mindless consumption and instantly forgotten. Studies show that overindulgence in this type of information can diminish our ability to think, with an effect comparable to a mental anesthetic. At the same time, an over-reliance on social media keeps our minds constantly on edge, making it impossible to escape the demands of others, no matter where we are. The author argues that the root cause of this predicament is that the human brain hasn't evolved much from its primitive state 50,000 years ago. Yet, the world's technology is advancing at lightning speed. It's like an old computer being forced to run countless redundant programs, handle multiple tasks, and make endless decisions all at once. Naturally, it slows down and is bound to crash. Beyond our external environment, certain aspects of our own human nature are also obstacles. Take, for example, our adaptability. You might ask, isn't adaptability a good thing? In difficult times, yes, it helps us overcome setbacks. But in daily life, the habituation, that comes with adaptability constantly diminishes the satisfaction we get from new things. We feel dissatisfied precisely because the joy of fulfilling a desire fades, and what was once a pleasant surprise slowly becomes taken for granted. For instance, give a little girl a toy ring and she'll be overjoyed. But soon, she'll grow tired of it and start saving desperately for a real ring. Before long, that novelty wears off too, and she'll use her salary to buy a platinum one. But once the honeymoon phase with the new ring ends, she'll start craving a designer ring. In the end, even if she gets the most expensive, unique ring imaginable, she will eventually grow tired of it. On one hand, we pursue pleasure in search of happiness. On the other, that feeling of pleasure vanishes as soon as we obtain it. To feel happy again, we have to buy something new. To chase a greater happiness, we have to buy something better and more expensive. We get trapped in an endless cycle of chase and habituate, moving further and further away from happiness and, naturally, never finding what we should truly cherish. Then there's our social psychology. Humans have always been social creatures, and this has left a deep imprint on our psyche. We feel lonely when we're separated from the group. This loneliness acts like an alarm, telling us to get back to the collective. To survive within the group, individuals must show their value. Therefore, we have an innate desire to display our worth. However, while some forms of value like physique or appearance are easy to see, others like kindness, humor, diligence, or optimism can only be discovered through long-term interaction. So what do people do? They unconsciously try to use external objects to indirectly express or suggest these inner qualities. For example, wearing a high-end suit, shiny leather shoes, a Rolex watch, and driving a luxury car is a simple and clear way to announce to the world that you are wealthy. The author admits that he once bought the latest iPhone on launch day and deliberately took it to Starbucks to unbox in front of his MacBook, all to project a certain lifestyle. The problem is that too many people mistake their possessions for an extension of their self-worth, believing that owning certain things makes them a certain type of person. This leads to an ever-growing pile of stuff, and the time and energy spent managing it all causes them to lose themselves in the process. Therefore, we must challenge this mindset. Objects do not define us, and they certainly shouldn't control our lives. At the end of the day, objects are just tools. Their only reason for being in our lives should be because I need them. If we can't get this relationship right, we fall into the trap of chasing novelty and using material goods to prove our worth. Add to that the overwhelming marketing messages of modern society urging us to buy, and without self-control, our possessions will only multiply. Our lives become cluttered, we lose sight of what matters most, and ultimately, we lose our ability to feel happiness. That covers the author's view of minimalism and the problems that prevent us from achieving it. Now, let's move on to the second key point: how to kickstart your minimalist life by decluttering your belongings. On this topic, the author provides an exhaustive list of over 70 rules. Due to time constraints, we can't cover them all, but the core ideas revolve around a few key points. Start immediately. Understand that nothing is impossible to throw away. Clear out the dead corners of your home and abandon the obsession with organizing and storing. The most central principle of all is to keep only what is truly essential. The author repeatedly emphasizes that letting go is a skill you learn by doing and do by learning. Don't wait. Just start tossing. You need to know that it's not that you can start decluttering once you've calmed down, it's that you calm down by decluttering. If you keep thinking, I'll get to it when I have time, that day will never come. The author suggests starting with the obvious trash. To build a long-term habit, you can accumulate experience through small successes. For example, throw out empty delivery boxes and bottles, clear out expired food from the fridge, and get rid of damaged clothes and broken appliances. Start with this obvious junk to build momentum. Next, get rid of your backups. If you have more than 2 of the same item, you must throw one away. If you have 3 pairs of scissors, toss 2. The standard is simple. Get rid of the one you don't like, have never used, or doesn't work well. Following this logic, you should also get rid of your stockpile, the toilet paper you bought in bulk on sale, the laundry detergent from a promotion. These duplicates take up a huge amount of space. Your home isn't a warehouse, the corner convenience store, and other shops are your inventory. Just restock when you need to. Once the extra items are gone, it stands to reason that freebies have no place either. The little gifts from stores, the collection of shopping bags. These miscellaneous free items are rarely useful. Throw them all out. And from now on, learn to refuse them decisively. Tossing all of the above is just the beginning. Next, you have to deal with the seemingly useful things you spent a lot of money on. For instance, get rid of things you bought out of vanity. We often hope to display our self-worth through objects. You need to ask yourself, did I buy this out of a genuine need or love for it? Or was it just to satisfy my ego? That brand name watch you bought to look cool, the professional outdoor gear you bought for a single Instagram post. Let go of these things that serve only your vanity. For items you're on the fence about, the author provides clear criteria. For example, if you haven't used it in a year, throw it out. Of course, a wool blanket you use every winter or a down jacket you wear each year should be kept. But many things that go unused for a full year are things your life doesn't require. They will likely remain untouched next year, so get rid of them. Another example, if it's covered in dust, it's clearly non-essential and can be thrown out. If you've done all that, you still need to check the corners of your home. Try to keep corners empty, don't try to fill them with cabinets or shelves. More storage space is not better. Increasing storage only encourages you to accumulate more and more things, endlessly. Instead, it's better to not have the storage space to begin with. Kenya Hara, the art director for the minimalist brand Muji, is a strong advocate for the idea of the utility of uselessness. This is a Zen philosophy holding that empty space is what brings us the most inner comfort. All kinds of furniture and storage containers are the enemies of freedom. During the decluttering process, you might encounter items that you truly struggle to part with. What should you do? The author offers a compromise. You can temporarily pack them away in a box or a closet, separating yourself from them for a while to re-evaluate your relationship. If you don't even think about them after some time has passed, you can probably let them go with confidence. It's normal to feel attached when first considering an item. As long as you can identify the reason for your attachment, it becomes easier to handle. For example, if you realize it holds a beautiful memory, taking a photo of it is a great solution. Capture the image, recall the joy you felt when you first received it, say thank you to the object, and then you can cherish the photo and let the item itself go. Another tip, if you've debated tossing an item more than 5 times, you should just get rid of it. It's already draining your energy and will likely cause you to get stuck on other items, creating a chain reaction. So once the thought of throwing it away keeps coming back, it's better to make a clean break. If some items are valuable, consider selling them on a second-hand marketplace. This allows you to recoup some of the cost, and the tedious process of taking photos and filling out descriptions will serve as a reminder not to make the same mistake again. Alternatively, you can donate them to a relief organization or leave them in a suitable place to help those who truly need them. The author repeatedly reminds us to always remember the core of minimalist living. Keep only the essentials and be determined to let go of the rest. Getting rid of things will win you back vast amounts of time to organize your life and give you abundant energy to devote to the things you truly love. Now that we've covered the practical advice for decluttering, let's turn to our third topic. How does fully embracing minimalism change our lives? Minimalism can bring about real and radical change, and the author is living proof. After transforming himself into a minimalist by getting rid of his things, his life improved dramatically. The most direct change was that he had more time. He saved time on shopping, waiting in line for limited editions, scrolling through junk information, and searching for things. He even reached a point where moving was a grab-and-go affair. At the same time, he had plenty of time to let his mind wander and reflect on his life. Another change was having more energy. With fewer things to worry about, his life became more efficient, and his energy naturally increased. He could do what he wanted when he wanted, and he became a man of action. The author not only gave 12 speeches across Japan, but also tried scuba diving, created a website, wrote a book, and even confessed his feelings to a woman he had a crush on for years. He experienced many firsts in his life, which became incredibly vibrant and interesting. Through these new experiences, the author also made many close friends and built high-quality relationships. On an internal level, he became more serene. Because he no longer needed to prove his worth, he stopped caring about others' opinions. As a result, he could focus more on his inner world and cherish everything he had left. When he hosted friends, the absence of a TV or other entertainment meant everyone would sit around, drink tea, and have much deeper conversations. The author compares this life of cherishing the ordinary and finding inner peace to the ducks in the pond outside the National Diet Library in Tokyo. They never try to be show-off ducks, they just go about their day, experiencing a quiet happiness in their own way. Ultimately, this inner peace also led to long-term health, which was one of the greatest rewards the author gained from practicing minimalism. As mentioned earlier, the goal of minimalism is to make us happy. So, did the author finally find happiness? The answer is yes. He not only felt happiness but also says he would never want to return to his old, cluttered life, where he was suffocated by his possessions. The author believes that we don't need to become happy, but rather to feel happiness. A minimalist lifestyle helps us find what is most real in life, giving us more energy to focus on our inner world. Therefore, it naturally allows us to experience happiness more profoundly. And with that, we've covered the essence of the book. Here's a quick summary. This book primarily covered 3 parts. First, the author's definition of minimalism and the root causes that prevent us from living a simple life. The author argues that minimalism is essentially an attitude and a philosophy, not a competition to own the fewest things. It requires us to eliminate everything that is non-essential and not truly needed, thereby helping us quickly identify what is truly worth cherishing in life. Our social environment, along with our innate human tendencies for adaptation and social conformity, are what interfere with this way of living. Second, the author's advice on how to simplify our possessions. It's best to act now, it's never too late, so don't wait. You can start with low-value items around you like duplicates and freebies. Then, move on to discarding things bought purely to satisfy your ego. The author also advises against having too much storage space in your home, forcing you from the start to learn not to hoard. For items you repeatedly struggle to part with, if the thought of tossing it has occurred more than 5 times, just let it go. Third, the changes that minimalism brings to life. Based on the author's personal experience, the main changes are more freedom with your time, more abundant energy, a calmer mind, and better health. Through these improvements in his state of being, the author also found a long-lost sense of happiness. After hearing about this book, perhaps you can try starting your own minimalist journey tomorrow. That's all for today. Congratulations, you've just finished another book.